up, Suns fans? Suns get the win, but somehow lose. We'll talk more about it once we get into it, but for now, the Suns get the win over the San Antonio Spurs. Final score 104, Spurs 93. It feels good to not only win, but also just to reclaim our spot from last year. I lost actual sleep last year from how the Suns handled the San Antonio Spurs series. We only won one game against the San Antonio Spurs, and they were way worse last year than they are this year. This San Antonio Spurs team nowadays is a little more better. They're creeping up in the standings. They are at 11 and 10 now, but the Suns increased to 12 and 8 on the season, getting back-to-back dubs after we defeated the Warriors last time. So not only have we revenged the ghosts of the past, but Suns also win. But while the Suns do win, and this is great and all, I have to mention this is the final game of the NBA Cup. Basically the regular season for the NBA Cup, as now the games are done. We're going to be lining up into the playoffs. And unfortunately, unlike last year, the Suns will be missing the NBA Cup playoffs, the knockout rounds. They're called the knockout rounds, basically the quarterfinals for the NBA Cup. So we made it. We were there last year, and around this same time, the Suns last year, when we faced the Lakers and we lost to them, and they would eventually win. So this year's NBA Cup is a little more different, as a little more teams are better this year. So the Suns did not win our group. Our group was along with OKC, the Lakers, the Spurs, and the Jazz. We won against the Jazz, Spurs, and Lakers. But that kind of era of the season where we're missing KD and we couldn't properly contend. And basically that OKC game ended up deciding the whole thing, as with that loss, we're eliminated from winning the group. So the Dallas Mavs also played the Memphis Grizzlies tonight. And basically the Suns, if they needed to get in, they just needed the Mavs to lose, which the Grizzlies choked very badly in that fourth quarter. That is Grizzly talk and Mavs talk, all right? I'm just observing from across the lake. But even in a different game, the refs still screw the Suns, as apparently Mavs had 24 free throws in that fourth quarter, which led to their fourth quarter comeback against the Grizzlies, and that ended the Suns' chance. We do not make it, and we are eliminated. It sucks, Just speaking from a pure competitiveness point, it sucks, all right? We want the Suns to go and win everything, right? And this team has been really good recently. But also, it's nice to get a little break here, as we're definitely going to be needing some after this game. More on that in just a second. So yeah, what are your thoughts on it? Suns are eliminated either way. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't affect anything unless you really wanted the cash. What a game, right? So let's start talking about it. So I kind of opened it up with, I was scared about this game. I put up a poll before every game, and I do my pre-primer shows before each game. And I was kind of scared. I was a little worried about this game being a potential trap game and another Brooklyn scenario, because the Spurs are really good. They have won 4 out of their last 5 games. So they're really nothing to take that easy. They were bad last year, which made it sucked just to lose to them, especially 3 times. But now we have to actually take them seriously, because they're starting to get back up on their feet. And especially in a very competitive West, I looked at the standings. The Suns were moved back to the 9th seed before tonight's game. The West is so competitive right now. It sucks that we might be having some bad problems, more on that, with the Suns roster right now. But we just need to win right now. The West is too competitive to at least lose any games right now, and we can't drop anything right now, or you're basically going to be the Timberwolves, which they're 10 and 10 on the season and are currently in the elimination column. So either way you cut it, who cares about the NBA Cup? The Suns needed this win, and it feels good to get this win, okay? And we're back up to the 6th seed, and it's awesome being up here, okay? It was led by Devin Booker. So Book actually made history. I don't know if you guys seen this or not, but Devin Booker, he has officially, with the first play of the game tonight, crossed a 15,000 career points. I can't even count that much. I don't have time to count to 15,000. Okay, but cool. Another achievement. I think Booker put it pretty simply in that post game interview after the game. He was just like, I was just focusing on the shot. Nothing more about that. So cool. A number of changes for Book. Awesome. Another milestone to put up in Book's career. And I actually pulled this from the Twitter page as quote from the Suns Twitter, official Twitter. Book joins Walter Davis as the only players in franchise history to score 15K points in a Suns uniform. So, Suns legend. He may not have an MVP, but he's carrying this team right now. And I think we've been a little hard on Book over the past few days. But, during that stretch, he was without KD. He really struggled when he really needed to step up. But I think that gave him like another energy to his game when KD did come back, because he has been lighting it up from the field every night. I do think the argument that KD on this team is very important. KD is very instrumental to how this team and how far this team will go during the playoffs. But even then, in this recent stretch, it hasn't been all KD. As if you look in the past couple of games that the Suns have had, Booker has been leading the most points over these last 5 games, even when KD made his return against LA. Even then, it's still all Book that has been the game high scorer. So that stretch, I guess, really awoken something within Book to finally put the ball in the basket. And he has been doing that ever since, as tonight he ended the night with almost a 30-point effort. He put up 29. He had 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 5 turnovers, and 5 personal fouls. A little bit rough. I don't really remember Book fouling it up tonight. He just kind of collected it over the game, so it wasn't really that offensive to the basketball eyes of basketball god. I don't know where I was going with that. But Book played almost 40. He had to play 40 tonight, as let's now get into it. KD played 16 minutes. Why did KD play 16 minutes? He had 13 points. He was 2-2 from 3. He was perfect. He had 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 turnovers, and was the main defender on Victor Wembanyama. Otherwise, the now sophomore player who has been making rounds in the NBA and dominating. So why was KD out? Well, he got injured in the second quarter around, and he was later listed that he has an ankle sprain. It looked pretty bad. It went 90 degrees. All right. Don't go finding that footage, okay? It's pretty gnarly. So, yeah, sucks. KD injured. That sucks as well. We don't know how long he's going to be gone. I mean, the Suns have another 2-day break here, so hopefully KD can get the time he needs to be recovered. As next game is December 5th, and that will be against the New Orleans Injuries, as I am now calling them. And then right after that, we have a back-to-back. So that is going to be rough, especially against the Florida teams. Back-to-back in Florida. Scary business with KD being out again, as he is literally this team's MVP. He's the most utilized, just two-way player on this team. His defense has been incredible. His shot making has also been excellent. And it just sucks that we didn't get to see more of that until he is now going to be sitting the rest of the way. So hopefully more good news on that. Let's all put our hands in a circle and just pray for KD. But since we're talking about the starters here, Tyus Jones, another amazing night. I feel like I have been understating Tyus Jones in the last few games. He is really awesome, and he's been really amazing to have on this team. Ishbia, please, whatever you do, man, just please try to get Tyus Jones to resign here. He's too nice on this team to not have. He's a little short on his shots sometimes, yes, but what he does, and especially what he did tonight, is just amazing for this team, especially for us to eke out this big win. Tyus Jones, 16 points, 4 assists, 0 turnovers, and he had 2 fouls. So, yeah, amazing shooting night from Tyus Jones, especially when we needed him offensively. When KD went out, he was making things happen in the third. And Bradley Beal, let's get into that. He came back for a little bit when we faced LA, but Bradley Beal, his first game back, did not put on an offensive masterclass as we would have thought, especially when Katie went out. But he still did contribute 10 points. He had 9 rebounds. And when we're into the second quarter, Bill already had 7 rebounds, which is crazy when you have Victor Wembanyama out on the court just always. So he is very well getting around and getting essential rebound because that is still a big problem on the Suns here. And I think it's safe to say to call that Bradley Beal is a monster. Okay, maybe a little too embellishing there, but he has a clutch shot in the fourth every time. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I feel like if we need a clutch three, Bradley Beal is there to swish it. All right. You don't believe me, go look at it. I swear you'll find some collection of shots where Bradley Beal has made in the fourth, and it's been very crucial. And he did it again tonight when we needed to desperately close out this Spurs game. As things got a little out of hand in that third quarter, especially with the news that KD is out. But luckily, the Suns played their cards right. Great game by Coach Bud on answering anything the Spurs had to throw at us. And the boys hustled this one out. It's just amazing rebounding. Especially the fourth quarter, they came out with such great energy. The Spurs have adopted this new strategy of taking up a lot of threes, which they were very much missing tonight. You want to hear some funny stats? I got them for you, man. The Spurs made 8 threes during the course of this entire game, and they attempted 44. That is 8 made threes out of 44 attempts. That is a disgusting 18.2% shooting average. As a whole team, Devin Vassell is responsible for most of them as he went 4 or 5 from 3, and most of those were too little, too late. So yeah, this night could have gone definitely a lot worse if the Spurs just caught fire from 3. Just great play and great defense by the Suns to prevent that from happening and keeping Wembanyama scoreless by the time halftime was around. Then KD went out, so we kind of lost our main defender on Wembanyama. So he naturally responded, and the Spurs team did remember that they did have Wembanyama, and that guy's crazy. Just put him down in the post, and he just solves anything. I don't get it. Wembanyama, he's too long, too lanky for my liking. All I remember of Wembanyama is just that video of him where it's like a POV, and he's like, what it's like to be POV of Wembanyama. It's crazy. He's like eye level to the rim. Crazy stuff. So great job on the Suns. Just putting that down. Stopping Wembanyama. Stopping anything the Spurs had to throw at the Suns. Along with Tyus Jones, who led that charge in the fourth, along with Book. He got going in the fourth. Also got his second career start of the night in place of Yusuf Nurkic being out. And also, there is a lot to say and love about Oso. This kid can run. He's got energy. He's just always in the right place in the right time. A little embellishing there, but you get the picture of what I'm talking about. If you just see his highlights of this game, he has really just affected this team. First of all, he's more faster than Nurkic. So he's able to be in more places more quickly. He's a lot of threats. He can go get the ball, and he is a great passer. So he just elevates this team to something else. He put up a quiet 7 points and played 28 minutes and was 3 of 5. He was perfect with that push shot at the beginning of the half, but near the end of the half, he wasn't so much. That kind of sucks, but still, great night from Oso. Very loved his game. I love what this man can do. Talking about our rookies, we should bring up Ryan Dunn. He played only 12 minutes. He only had 1 foul and 3 points. So one of that was from a layup, a breakaway layup that he created with the steal, the only steal of the game he has. 4 rebounds. And yeah, just again, bringing that energy. I mean, these stats, they present a bad night for Ryan Dunn, which he did. He still in a little bit of a rut offensively. Would love to see if his threes could start falling again. Would love to see him fix his free throw because he is one of two from free throw line. Ryan Dunn is just kind of averaging back to being a offensive question mark out there. But I mean, he does show and prove it with his energy and defense. Makes me wonder why we don't see a little bit of Josh Okogie now. If Ryan Dunn's having a bad game, why not try Josh Okogie? They're basically the same player, right? 3 and D. They essentially do the same thing out there. So great nap for the Rooks. Great energy when we need it the most. Mason Plumlee, who is the backup center for tonight. Yeah, credit where credit is due. Mason Plumlee has just been good. A really great pickup. I was a little skeptical about him in the preseason, but I think a little people are close to saying that he's slow and he's just got terrible hands. But I don't know if you've watched Mason Plumlee. That guy can run. He is not slow at all. I watched a certain play of Mason Plumlee able to get up the floor quicker than everyone else. Like, he may not be Tyus Jones kind of fast, but he's got some wheels, especially completing some plays like lobs or just trying to defend, which, my God, Mason Plumlee during that fourth, he was crucial. 4 blocks. Mason Plumlee had 4 blocks tonight. He had 6 points, 6 rebounds, one assist, and 1 steal. A big night, especially coming from our backup center. So you love to see it. Definitely in these last couple of games, Oso and Mason Plumlee have been looking really great, which is good for us. But that does open the door for a little questioning of where Yusuf Nurkic is. I've said it before, man. Yusuf Nurkic, dude, when he's on, he could elevate this team to so much. But is he there consistently? Not so much. And honestly, he is probably the biggest reason that stands between the way of the Suns winning a championship or not, is Yusuf Nurkic. But we will see as the season goes along. And just filling out the rest of our bench pieces, Royce O'Neal, very streaky night. Again, he was 2 of 9 from 3, 10 points. He did start swishing more of those threes near the end of the half, which you like to see. But again, just basically stood in line with everyone else on the bench, just showing energy, great defense, 6 rebounds. He had an assist and a steal. And Monte Morris also appeared again tonight. He had 8 minutes, 1 of 2 from the field. He had 2 points, 4 assists. So I kind of want to ignite an old fire here. Maybe it's a little too late to be saying this, but I think this game proves something that we haven't had in a while. I know I am a relatively new Suns fan, okay? I've been following the team for about 2 years, meaning I haven't seen much of the Suns legend that Chris Paul is. So I just kind of saw the end of his career. Chris Paul tonight played 32 minutes, 2 points, 1 of 9, and of 5 from 3. Although he did have 8 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 steals, 2 turnovers, and 3 fouls. I think this game sells the debate that Bradley Beal was definitely the right choice. And if you think otherwise, you are living in the past, my sir. All right? Chris Paul, grateful for what he has done for this franchise, and I'm sure most people are. But the sun has figuratively set on his time here. And I think that move all the way back last offseason was definitely the right move. We gave up Chris Paul and Landry Shamet. Landry Shamet, who is now in the G League, and Chris Paul, who has 2 points, 1 of 9 from the field. And Bradley Beal, in comparison, while not the greatest night, 10 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. Chris Paul had 3 steals, but Bradley Beal did steal from Chris Paul. So I think Bradley Beal just works for this team. Of course, the only caveat to this argument is that Bradley Beal has trouble staying healthy, and I get that. But, I mean, does Chris Paul fare any better? They're both old, okay? Let's just call it a draw on that point. So even then, Bradley Beal is still doing a lot more for the Suns than Chris Paul would now if he was still on this team. And, I mean, God, we'd still have to be dealing with Landry Shamet. He would have been great for the Valley Suns, though. All right, so that's about everything I have to say here. Suns will be back at it December 5th against the New Orleans Injuries. So that will be fun. Can't wait for Booker to own the Pelicans once again. It should be an easy game, hopefully. Let's hope that I did not just jinx that. Okay, see you then. Remember to like, comment, subscribe if you like this content. We'll be back with more after the break. So, Suns win. Let's freaking go. And let's continue this fight in a crowded West. All right, see you guys next time.